Two Aurora SWAT officers are recovering after a shooting in a neighborhood in Denver that was involving robbery suspects. This shooting happened in the Green Valley Ranch neighborhood.
Denver police say Aurora officers were following suspects that they believed were involved in a series of armed convenience store robberies across the metro area. Police say the suspect is in critical condition. 9 News reporter Jordan Chavez is at the Redstone Ranch Apartments where the shooting happened. Jordan, police say things escalated when the suspect tried to forcefully steal a car.
And Tom and Kim, that car is actually still in the parking lot this evening as we speak. And though Denver police, because they are leading this investigation, because we are in fact in Denver, wouldn't actually say how many shots were fired because they say that's part of the investigation at this time. As I step aside and Taylor zooms in, we can let you see there are quite a few bullet holes in that car. As you can see, that light flashing back and forth. Now, they say two people were actually inside when the suspect tried to steal it and used some kind of weapon to get them out. But before that suspect could leave, Aurora PD says those officers were able to block the car in, which is when the shooting actually started. And though neither APD nor DPD will say who fired first at this time. Denver police say the suspect was part of a bigger group of people being followed by the Rocky Mountain Safe Streets Task Force for a string of armed robberies, as you mentioned, at convenience stores over the past few weeks. But they say when officers tried to engage them this evening, just this one suspect took off running through the apartment complex, and that's when they tried to take that car. Now, a lot of the people who live at these apartments say they didn't see anything themselves, but learned something was going on when they heard those gunshots.
It's kind of surreal to see, like, it literally is right here. I mean, my kids play football right here all the time. I literally had just pulled off. So, I'm wondering, I'm hearing that it was possibly a carjacking. Like maybe he might have tried to jack me. I don't know. It's kind of freaky. It's really kind of freaky. And then to see all the, the gunshots. I got 4 little ones in the house, so, it's kind of crazy.
Police say the 2 Aurora SWAT officers were taken to University Hospital where they are still recovering. Again, non-life-threatening injuries there. The suspect, however, again, is in critical condition and we're told is currently being treated at Denver Health. There is still a lot of information, though, Tom, that we are not able to get from police at this time. Questions like what kind of weapons were used, where everyone was shot, exactly how many shots were fired, and again, who fired first, Tom. But those are things we will continue to be pressing police on. Especially with 2 different agencies involved.
All right, Jordan, thanks. As far as the Aurora officers, Aurora's interim police chief, Vanessa Wilson, tweeted this about the shooting a little while ago, saying that she met with the 2 officers and their families at the hospital, saying they are stable and in good spirits.